Welcome everybody to the #Hypetrain podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Corey, the #1 fan in the Morris Day and the Time fan club. So how about that?
That's probably true.
I am Morris Day always.
And this is our flashback episode. We're traveling back to the year of 1990. So we have 3 trailers here from that golden year. And our first one, Corey, you picked this one, so go ahead and take it away.
All right, guys. So our first trailer today is going to be Graffiti Bridge. Like Fernandez has already said, this was released in 1990 as the unofficial sequel to Purple Rain. The kid, played by Prince, is now a club owner whose rival, Morris, from Morris Day and the Time, get into a fight over who should take possession of the Grand Slam nightclub. Here we go.
George's place pulled 17,000. We made our usual 35, and the kid made $1,500. $1,500?
Right?
I can hear this one.
Make more money. Now what time is it?
Get it?
Oh, man. That's pretty good.
Oh, so good.
All right, so that is Graffiti Bridge. Corey, you pick this one, so you start.
Okay, so the premise of this episode was that we were going to find older trailers for either movies that we had never heard of that came out around the time frame we'd been alive, or for movies that are much older than us but we like. So I just Googled like just old trailers and started combing through a bunch of them, and like, you know, The Fugitive, Hunt for Red October, a bunch of those started popping up. Lawnmower Man, I thought to give considering, and then Graffiti Bridge popped up, and I was like, what the is that? Like,
thank you for censoring yourself.
I watched it 6 times, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Like, each time Morris Day goes, well, I guess we know what time it is. Like, it destroys me.
I gotta say, you did raise the bar for me, because it was like looking up old trailers, you get all like the hits that everyone has seen.
Exactly.
And when you came up with Graffiti Bridge, I was like, oh, I have to find something old that you know I've never seen or they haven't probably seen. So like it was actually kind of tough to sift through as many old trailers as I did. But yeah,
just like such a crazy cool lineup of people at the time to have just not even known this existed. Especially growing up in my family, my aunts and uncles loved Prince. Like, that was their boy. So to have never heard of Graffiti Bridge at all, I'd seen Purple Rain like probably 6 times by the time I was 7. So.
Oh wow. Yeah, I've never seen Purple Rain. So.
Yeah, nor I. But
so it's a very, famous movie that I know a lot of people, probably a little bit, like maybe a few years older than me, they reference it a lot, more than I do.
But yeah, Graffiti Bridge, go check it out.
pretty hyped for it.
Here's a question I have.
Yeah.
About this for Corey, who may know. The trailer credits the time as the time. I've never seen Purple Rain, but I know it's Prince's movie with the revolution. They do not credit the revolution, but they credit the time. Is Prince just here, Prince, and the revolution is just off somewhere, like not in the movie? Like, what's going on here? Like,
yeah, because I did scan the credits, like just the listing, and it lists every single member of the time as here's Jimmy Jam, here's Wiz Waz, here's Blim Blam. But the Revolution, I didn't see anywhere on the listing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this movie, there's got to be something behind it, considering it even says that it's the unofficial sequel to Purple Rain, that there were people that didn't believe in this movie, or I feel like it was just Prince and Morris Day maybe wanting to make this movie, and so they kind of must have funded it through companies that had nothing to do with the first one.
Yeah.
So I've been looking through the people who play Prince's band members just real quick, and it looks like all of them are just like actors who he's either used in music videos before or just have been in other things. Like some of them have been in like Janet Jackson music videos. Some of them have worked with him before. So it was like he just went out and was like, I don't need people who can actually play instruments. I already wrote all the music for this shit like 5 years ago. So whatever.
Yeah. So as we mentioned, we're going back to 1990 for this episode. We're not in 1990. We're not too far away from the artist formerly known as Prince.
Yeah.
So I know there was a lot going on, behind the scenes with Prince's music, where he cut with the label and he cut with everybody, and he couldn't even be Prince for a while. So it might have something to do with that. I don't know. I'm not his biographer.
Looking at, because the reviews, there's a plot synopsis that someone wrote. This movie looks very like, I don't know who was in control of a lot of the cinematography and stuff like that, but there's parts where they just seem a little like overly artsy for some parts. Just the way that the synopsis describes it is in like, there's a part where the kid's girlfriend leaves, and this is quoting from the synopsis I have, where a feather floats from the sky and a woman named Aura appears seemingly from nowhere. In her thoughts, she asks heaven why she has been sent there. The enforcers have planted a mild explosive at the Glam Slam, and the blast brings the kid upstairs to see the damage, which is minor and doesn't seem to deter him. So, like, it's like, if that's describing what's actually going on in the film, because I haven't seen it, I feel like, like Prince wrote it and directed this, so
yeah,
it might be like what you're saying. It's that he's turning into his like artist formerly known as Prince thing and going a little crazy there.
Yeah, well, I mean, Prince was already crazy. I just mean, I was more talking about that in relation to that the revolution isn't there.
Oh, okay.
Like I know this is right before he was contractually obligated to not be known as Prince anymore. So there was obviously stuff going on. In response to more what you just said, I saw that too when I was researching for this movie, for this trailer, that the movie is about like an angel that comes down and meets with Prince and Morris Day. And the thing is, that's not in the trailer, and I would say, good.
Yeah.
Don't put that in your trailer. Don't put that in your Prince movie trailer. They put maybe even a little too much acting into this trailer, even though this trailer is 70% music, maybe even more. That is what's taking people to your Prince movie. That is what people watch.
Like first watching the trailer, I was like, is this just an excuse for them to like make music videos of like live performances they did or something? But looking at like, the story, I was like, wow, this is kind of out there.
Yeah. And now I'm getting recommended videos after watching this trailer. I'm getting recommended videos to watch clips of Morris Day in Richard Pryor movies, which I didn't even know was a thing.
That's cool.
And he tries to marry Stacey Dash.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, okay.
Stacey Dash from Clueless?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who was apparently Richard Pryor's daughter in a movie. I'm learning a whole lot about if I can keep on this digression once. One more point.
Yeah, go for it.
I also learned through this movie that I don't know if this is true at all, because this is just like a Wikipedia thing. But apparently, Will Smith has said that when he was reading like for the Fresh Prince and like doing a screen test, they gave him a script that he didn't know to see how he would do, and it was for, quote, unsuccessful Morris Day project. So apparently somebody at least had initially believed enough in Morris Day's acting ability that he had a pilot that they were going to produce, that somebody was like, no.
Oh,
but
I thought, shame. What a shame.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if Graffiti Bridge had the budget, we could live in an alternate universe where Morris Day was a crossover actor, musician as well.
Uh-huh.
A whole thing. Not what we ended up with, but hey, maybe
I'd buy those VHS box sets.
Maybe in this parallel 1990, we can make it work.
All right, and last words on Graffiti Bridge before we move on. Anybody?
Yeah, go check it out, because Morris Day clearly needs the paycheck, because we've just been ragging on him for the past 30 minutes.
The tagline is, music is the power, love is the message, truth is the answer.
We all love Morris Day. Everyone knows.
All right.
Everyone knows it's Morris Day in the motherfucking time.
Yes.
So our next trailer here, this one I picked. It is also from the year 1990. It's the Willies.
Forge majeure.
The dead of night, a backyard camping trip, 3 young boys, each with a tale.
This story is guaranteed.
Hey, there he is.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't. There's not much content of it. Like
strange events are happening at Greeley Elementary School.
Danny Hollister, is that you?
And they're happening to Danny Hollister.
What on earth are you talking about?
There's a monster.
Is this what inspired R.L. Stein?
Hey, Mr. Monster. Come out, wherever you are.
No one believed Danny, at least not at first.
Monster indeed. What are you staring at?
No! No!
Monster indeed.
Hello, handsome. For at Greeley Elementary School, not everyone is who they seem. The first day they opened the haunted estate, one old man took a ride.
I hope everyone's enjoying this trailer, because it's not even half done.
Oh, it's very long.
Stanford, on my screen, it's been frozen on Billy running out of the bathroom for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Out of here! I think I'd like to get out now.
Help me! Please, you must help me!
Somebody please stop this ride!
I found you.
No! No!
Would you say he got his money's worth? Nobody liked Gordy Belcher.
Any of you guys want a cookie?
No thanks.
It's Donkey Lips from
It's Donkey Lips.
But he had a special hobby.
Just so you know, Corey, because you can't see it.
Gordy, a fly is a boy's best friend.
What's
probably
that?
doesn't help at all.
See, I mixed this up special just for you. So whatever you're using it for, it'll work extra good now.
But Gordy didn't know how good.
Me and you guys are gonna have some fun.
Either way, you're still a pig.
Now relax. These flies aren't for me. They're for Gordy Belcher.
There were flies in Spivey's ointment. Now they're in Gordy's room.
I told him it was a special bath.
That part is really creepy that
Tales
he's
of
missing his
terror,
arms for some
guaranteed to
reason.
give you the Willies.
The Willies.
Starring James Karen, Sean Astin,
Yeah, that wasn't the end.
Kathleen Freeman,
Everyone in
You may begin.
Jeremy Miller, and a special appearance by the Monster, the Willies.
All right, that was the Willies. So,
Oh my god.
yeah, like I said, you up the bar by like finding just a weird obscure movie. So I was like, all right, let's go. And then I saw Sean Astin in it, and a lot of like actors that I've seen in other things that in this movie. It was a crazy long trailer, but it's obviously like a bunch of different stories.
It's an anthology. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I like, you know, you got, it was just kind of I picked it just because of all the cameos, I guess, you know. You got Sean Astin, you got all the Seavers from Growing Pains, basically.
Yeah, that
Freeman,
was
Mother Mary Stigmata.
That was really weird when I was watching the trailer the first time, and I'm like, oh, he's watching Growing Pains.
Yeah.
And then Kirk Cameron references Donkey Lips in the movie's real world from the TV. I was like, oh, okay. Sure.
This movie to me definitely has like a Are You Afraid of the Dark vibe to it. It might have inspired that. Goosebumps, all that stuff. Kids horror movie, very 90s.
That was a very like 90s aesthetic. Like, this is a scary movie for kids. Like, you don't really see that anymore. Like like what was it? What's that one? Monster Squad and
I loved Monster Squad.
Well, yeah. Well, that Monster Squad's from the 80s, right? But I mean, it's the same thing. That's in my mind, that's a very late 80s, early 90s sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they do stuff like that now. I haven't seen them though. I get the idea that these movies like Goosebumps and whatever are just horror themed children's comedies, not children's horror movies. But I don't know.
There is new stuff. I know my niece actually she was watching some because R.L. Stine has something new. It's like a newer Goosebumps. I forgot what it's called. Maybe like Chill Street or something. But it's weird because I was watching it with her once, and it was.
Is it Fear Street? Because
Fear Street.
That's the name of another book series of his from back in the day.
Yeah, it could be that or something else, but it's weird because it is adapted. Like it's children's horror adapted for nowadays, so most of them like it'll have something to do with like cell phones or social media or something. So Arslan is still doing the kids horror thing. It's just he's adapted with the times, I think.
Fear Street 2020
as it was back then, though.
Yeah. Here's something about this trailer: is it? We just watched all of the whole movie. Like definitely. We know what happens. We know what happens in the whole thing. Apparently, Doug Benson's in this movie.
I also saw that Doug Benson was there as Zombie.
As just Zombie. This might have been his first role ever.
I'm just seeing this right now. but we like it, especially with The shortest one was the old man on the horror ride, but we saw the whole thing. He dies.
He goes in there. It's creepy or scary to him, and he dies.
Yeah.
That that old man was in Home Alone. Do you guys remember? It's when she's trying to get back. The mom's trying to get back, and she's trying to beg the old man and lady.
Oh yeah,
for their scene on the plane. That's him.
He's in. So I recognize that old man from a lot of movies back in the day.
He's in a lot of movies from that era.
Yeah, Bill Irwin is his name. I remember looking at it, and I'm like, I was gonna go through the credits and put him in my notes, but I'm like, there's way too many. Like he's been in small bit parts in like everything. Up to 2006. So I know of him because he's that old guy in things.
Yeah.
Fernandez, while you have IMDb up, pull up the Fear Street movie and show our listeners and Sanford who's in it.
What do you mean show them? Now I have to do something? Oh, okay.
Oh.
Great. Okay.
How are you gonna fix this?
What is the what now? Fear Street movie.
Fear Street, 2020.
Okay. A murder mystery shakes up the town of Shadyside, Ohio. Featuring
Britt is in this?
Yeah.
That's what you wanted to say.
Oh, okay. Gillian Jacobs, whatever her name is.
Gillian.
Yeah,
I think it's Gillian, right?
It is pronounced Gillian, which is weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so not much. I don't think there's much else to say about the Willies. So let's go on to Rockula. Matt, take it away.
All right, so Rockula is best experienced than explained. If you're in the mood for a goofy comedy with a musical stint from the current year, 1990, look no further than Rockula. Let's do it to it.
He's shy. Misunderstood.
What do? I'm a vampire.
Have you ever seen one of these before?
18th century, right?
And he hasn't scored in 400 years.
Man, that dude Joe got the blues.
He just met the perfect girl. And lost her for the 14th lifetime in a row.
Just forget the fact that we are the oldest living virgins walking the planet.
But all that is about to change.
You always die on Halloween night of your 22nd year.
Because if the devil sold his soul, he still couldn't rock and roll.
I don't think I'm a vampire. I really am a vampire. Prove it.
Like Rockula.
Rockula down to devoted to sound. My name is Rockula. I'm gonna play my thing right now.
You're great.
Tonight's the night to keep a date with fate.
I think maybe you just need some therapy, Ralph.
And it's their one last chance.
I love you. You love me. If you don't listen to me, you're gonna die.
For romance.
I thought he was kind of cute.
I'm back! Yo, check this out. Check this out. Check this out.
Rockula. The love story that rocks like a bat out of hell. Rockula.
Does anybody go bowling anymore?
Gee, Mr. Rockula, you're awfully glib.
And that was Rockula. So
wow, what a trailer!
I wanted to do that one last because it was my favorite of the three. No offense to Prince and Graffiti Bridge, but yeah, I love the way because trailers aren't made like that anymore with that voiceover and all that.
That is a very specific like.
Yeah, they
he's
do
going
not
back to the past. To save his one true love.
It does read like a fake trailer from the South Park, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. I loved everything about this. I want to see the movie. I'm gonna try to find some way to
look no further. Sanford has it.
Well, it's
really?
on Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay, cool.
Video. So that's how we watched it.
So if anyone else wants to watch this movie, which I do.
So here's some interesting stuff about Rockula. I think it's interesting. So it was released in the current year, 1990. It was filmed in 1988, and then was sitting dusty on somebody's shelf until they could finally release it, like over 2 years after it had been completed. So if that tells you anything about the quality of the film.
Yeah.
It features a lot of it's interesting that Corey's trailer that he selected was Graffiti Bridge, because this one also features a lot of music, sort of the other side of the spectrum. We saw Bo Diddley in the trailer. Thomas Dolby, who of Dolby Surround Sound, who also performed She Blinded Me with Science. He was in the trailer. He's the guy with the crucifix. The thing is, the third most important character in the movie is Tony Basil. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind.
Yeah,
she's not in the trailer. She's the third most important character. As everyone saw, there's a lot of different musical styles in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Mostly, this just shows the song "Hey Rockula," where he's pretending to be Elvis, which is weird because that's the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
But thankfully, the trailer does show what everyone wants to see, and that is Rapula, which is just the best. So if you have, it's available on Prime Video. Can't recommend it enough. Corey hates it. He's wrong.
My notes about this movie, I mean, it reminded me, just because I've never seen it, it reminded me straight up just like Once Bitten, Jim Carrey's first role.
Yeah.
Because the vampire theme and being very 80s. Now that you said that this was released in 1990 but filmed in 88, I feel like there was a small vampire craze in the 80s similar to what we had with Twilight, where like vampires became really cool and reflected the times, I guess, with being like a young vampire in the 80s and hijinks ensue. I think that was like a thing, especially with Once Bitten. I've seen it so many, like I've seen it probably like 3 times, and I don't know. I don't like it, but I keep watching it for one of those reasons, like a train wreck kind of thing.
It's interesting that you bring up Once Bitten. Both movies are about virgins.
Yeah.
I think it plays on this sort of like sexuality part of the vampire mythos.
Yeah.
But for some reason in the 80s they were always like, well, okay, so the main character is like a pathetic virgin, right? Like, because that's the worst thing you could be in the world. But in the 80s, apparently, it just mixed in with vampires. It's an interesting coincidence, and I guess maybe it's not fully a coincidence, but that's Rockula.
Yeah, because my favorite vampire-themed 80s movie, which is a different movie that's fairly similar, was My Best Friend's a Vampire with what's his face from House.
Wait,
but it's much less known.
Which face?
I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know if I know that one. And when was The Lost Boys made? Was that 80s also, or is that
90s? Yeah, like
86.
Yeah, like 80, 86, something like that.
Okay, good, yeah. So there was like a definite
87
80s vampire thing going on.
My Best Friend's a Vampire.
Yeah, I'm putting it in IMDb.com for anyone. No,
Robert
which
Sean
which
Leonard.
they don't have in 1990. So, and us
1987.
Okay.
1987, after a sexual encounter with a beautiful client, a teenage delivery boy finds himself being turned into a vampire.
Yeah, I've never seen this. Yeah.
I
Never
adore
heard
that
of it.
movie.
All right, well, I'll have to check this one out and
Kathy
check out
Bates
the
is
trailer
there?
and whatnot. But yeah, so there are 3 trailers: Graffiti Bridge, the unofficial sequel to Purple Rain. The Willies, it was I never mentioned this, but it was a straight-to-video, children's horror film. And then we have Rockula. So, it's looking like our presence here in 1990 on this hashtag Hypetrain is messing with the timeline, and we are going to have to get back to our regular time. So, last words from Corey. Go ahead.
Always brush your vitamins and take plenty of teeth. So, Sanford.
Oh, I mean, what could top that? I mean, definitely take plenty of teeth all the time, always.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode of the #Hypetrain podcast. Stay tuned. We're going back to our time and gonna do some more movie reviewing, movie trailers.
Baba booey, baba booey, baba booey.
Yeah. Get hyped for Super Nintendo. That's coming out soon.